So the Bentway is ultimately a project about making connections and removing barriers. The Gardiner Expressway has been a long-standing barrier that's divided communities across the downtown core for too long. Our work is about restitching those communities together, and we couldn't have thought of a better project to encapsulate that desire to create new physical connections than Dominoes. The way it weaves through neighborhoods, the way it crosses streets, the way that it brings people together is the perfect encapsulation of our mission. But even more so than the physical connections, the connections that are being made between the neighbors and the volunteers and business owners and everybody who has given their time and their energy and their ideas to make this project possible, that's the heart of the project, and that's why we're so excited to bring it to Toronto.
Big events in cities happen all the time, but they tend to be spectacles where the audience comes and sees a spectacular event, and they're sort of consumers in a way. Here, it's much more about being part of a social event. We've been doing it for 15 years, so it has changed over that time, but it has always been about connecting different parts of a city in one way or another, and hopefully in as many possible different ways as we can imagine, so that all the very different kinds of people and communities and kind of activities that happen in the city are seen as being part of a whole organism rather than separate kind of businesses or whatever.
This has become the most desired volunteer opportunity for all of staff. The purpose statement of Choice is creating enduring value through places where people thrive. The only way where we can look at our places and have them used in the best possible potential is by partnering with like-minded organizations. Bentway is that organization that thinks about co-design, that thinks about creating community, that really recognizes the privilege that we all have to live in a city as great as Toronto. It is such a pleasure to be able to be on these grounds and see this dream come alive.
And nobody will ever forget watching 8,000 Dominoes weave their way through Toronto, but the project's heart is the people who made it possible. And the Bentway could not be more grateful to the hundreds of volunteers, the business owners, the City of Toronto, and of course to our incredible staff and the artist team, without whom this project wouldn't be possible. And it brings us so much joy to see these people come together to create this unforgettable piece of public art.